The most dangerous hostage negotiation of your life will not happen in a bank vault or a boardroom. It will happen on your smartphone, at 6 in the morning on a Tuesday, while you are pouring your first cup of coffee. Your screen lights up. It is an onslaught. 5, 6, 7 text messages in rapid succession. The tone is aggressive. The accusations are wild, fabricated, and deeply personal. It is a digital ambush explicitly designed to spike your cortisol, ruin your focus, and drag you back into the dirt before your workday has even begun. In the past, you would have defended yourself. You would have drafted a furious, deeply logical essay proving them wrong. You would have reasoned. You would have pleaded. But not today. Today, you read the venom, take a breath, and type 3 emotionless words, received and noted. Send. They wanted a war. You just gave them a wall. Welcome to the brutal, unspoken reality of modern co-parenting with a toxic ex. When you finally walked away from the relationship, you thought the hardest part was over. You believed that signing the papers and moving into your own space meant you had finally bought your freedom. You thought you could heal. You thought you could finally focus on your career, your peace, and most importantly, raising your new child in a healthy, loving environment. But you quickly realized a terrifying truth. Leaving a high-conflict individual does not end the abuse. It merely forces the abuse to change its shape. Because they no longer have direct access to your daily life, they have to find a new way to exert control. And tragically, the ultimate leverage, the only remaining tether they have to your world, is your child. You are a professional. You know how to manage difficult personalities in the workplace. You know how to de-escalate angry clients, navigate office politics, and close complex deals. You operate in a world defined by logic, boundaries, and mutual goals. But this adversary does not operate on logic. They do not share the mutual goal of raising a healthy, well-adjusted child. Their primary objective, whether conscious or unconscious, is to maintain power over you. They use chaos as currency. They manufacture crises to keep you off balance. They weaponize drop-offs, manipulate schedules, and twist every minor parenting decision into a grueling, high-stakes battle of wills. It feels like you are trapped in an endless negotiation with a terrorist, where the ransom is your sanity and the hostage is your child's future. Every time your phone vibrates, you feel that familiar dread in your chest. You are exhausted. You are bleeding out emotionally, trying to shield your child from the crossfire, all while trying to maintain the facade of a highly functioning professional in the outside world. You watch your child sleep, completely unaware of the invisible war raging just beyond their bedroom door, and you know you cannot keep living like this. You survived the relationship, but the true psychological warfare has just begun. The question is, how exactly do you disarm a bomb that is legally tethered to you for the next 18 years, without destroying the very child you are trying to protect? To defeat an enemy, you must first understand how they fight. In a typical separation, two rational adults eventually retreat to neutral corners. They lick their wounds. They grieve. They move on. But a high-conflict individual does not want to move on. They want to move in. They want to set up a permanent encampment inside your mind, your bank account, and your daily routine. Welcome to the architecture of chaos. This adversary knows that they cannot control you directly anymore, so they attack the infrastructure of your life. They rely on 3 invisible weapons: legal harassment, financial attrition, and the relentless manufacturing of emotional crisis. Take the family court system. To a healthy parent, court is a terrifying, expensive last resort. To a narcissistic or toxic ex, the legal system is a stage. It is a taxpayer-funded weapon of harassment. They will file frivolous motions over 15-minute scheduling discrepancies. They will threaten custody modifications over a missed phone call. They understand that the legal system is a blunt instrument, blind to the nuances of psychological abuse, and they use it to slowly bleed you dry. It is a war of attrition. They want you so financially ruined and mentally exhausted that you simply surrender. Then, there is the professional sabotage. You are a high achiever. You have spent years building your career. Yet, they know exactly when to strike to maximize the damage. You are about to walk into a critical meeting, step onto a stage, or close a major deal. 2 minutes before you begin, your phone lights up with a manufactured emergency. A threat. A cruel accusation. Suddenly, your cognitive load is maxed out. You are physically in the room, but mentally, you are standing back in the war zone. They are stealing your focus, your productivity, and ultimately, your professional edge. But the most devastating weapon in their arsenal is the one breathing down the hall. Your child. A healthy parent sees a child as an independent human being to be nurtured. A toxic ex sees a child as a piece of property. A pawn on a chessboard. An instrument of leverage. They will subtly weaponize the child's innocence. They will whisper half-truths. They will drop heavy, adult burdens onto tiny shoulders, making the child feel guilty for having fun at your house, or for simply loving you. They force an impossible loyalty bind onto a developing brain that is entirely unequipped to process it. You watch this insidious campaign unfold, and your biological instincts scream at you to fight back. You want to defend your character. You want to expose their lies. You want to scream from the rooftops and show the judge, the mediators, and your child exactly who this person really is. But if you do that, you lose. They want you angry. They want you defensive. They want you sending massive, furious paragraphs of text at 2 in the morning. Why? Because they will calmly print out your desperate, emotional response and slide it across a mediator's table to prove that you are the erratic one. Every time you react, you hand them the remote control to your nervous system. They have a playbook, one explicitly designed to keep you emotionally bankrupt, exhausted, and constantly reacting. To survive, you don't just need a better legal strategy. You need a radically different state of mind. And that begins by deploying a psychological weapon they will never see coming. To win a war against an opponent who thrives on chaos, you must stop speaking their language. You must become a void. Think about your professional life. When you deal with a hostile vendor, an erratic contractor, or an irrational client, you do not cry. You do not beg them to see your perspective. You do not send them impassioned paragraphs of emotional vulnerability. You protect the company, you stick to the unvarnished facts, and you document absolutely everything. You must now apply this exact same strategic ruthlessness to your personal life. You are the CEO of your new reality, and your ex-partner is no longer your confidant, your friend, or your enemy. They are simply a volatile, untrustworthy business associate. Your child is the shared asset. Communication is merely logistics. At first, this will feel profoundly unnatural. As a loving, invested parent, your deepest instinct is to resolve conflict, to soothe, to explain, to make things right. You desperately want to co-parent. But you must radically accept that you are not co-parenting. You are counter-parenting. This shift in mindset is the foundation of the fortress of detachment. And your primary defense system is a psychological tactic known as the gray rock method. When you gray rock, you become as uninteresting, unresponsive, and emotionally barren as a pebble on the ground. You offer no drama. You provide zero emotional currency. When the inevitable bait arrives, a text mocking your parenting, an email blaming you for a forgotten jacket, a manufactured crisis designed to ruin your Friday night, you do not defend your character. You extract the single logistical question buried beneath their insults, and you completely ignore the rest. They message you, "You are a terrible parent and you always ruin everything, what time are you actually showing up tomorrow since you're always late?" You reply, "I will be there at 5 p.m. No apologies. No explanations. No emotion. But in the high-stakes arena of family court, absolute silence or rigid coldness can sometimes be twisted and weaponized against you. A mediator or a judge might misinterpret the pure gray rock method as you being inflexible or uncooperative. This is where you must upgrade your defense to the yellow rock protocol. Yellow rock is the gray rock method wrapped in a polite, corporate veneer. It is a bulletproof vest disguised as a tailored suit. You add, "Good morning." You add, "Thank you." You remain flawlessly polite, entirely professional, and utterly impenetrable. You communicate exclusively through parenting apps or email, enforcing a 24-hour waiting period before responding to anything that is not an immediate medical emergency. You are creating a pristine, court-admissible paper trail of your absolute stability. When you implement this consistently, something incredible happens. Your phone will ping, and your heart rate will remain steady. You will read a furious, manipulative paragraph, and you will feel nothing but mild boredom. By withholding your emotional reaction, you are systematically cutting off their oxygen supply. Toxic individuals feed on your distress. When you stop bleeding, they start starving. You reclaim your energy. You protect your career. You finally find your peace. You've successfully walled off their access to your emotions. Your inbox is sterile, your reactions are deadened, and you have become an impenetrable fortress. But what happens when the adversary realizes they can no longer breach your gates, and decides to use your child as the battering ram? When a toxic adversary realizes they can no longer breach your gates, they will not surrender. They will simply change their target. They will pivot from trying to control you, to trying to control how others see you. And their most captive, vulnerable audience is your child. Your child returns from the other house. The transition is rough. They are dysregulated, anxious, and carrying invisible weights that do not belong to them. Then, they say it. They repeat a bizarre, heavily coached accusation. "Mom says you care more about your new job than us," or, "Dad says you stole all our money and ruined the family." It is a physical blow to the chest. It breaks your heart. Your immediate, burning instinct is to drop to your knees and explain everything. You want to defend your character. You want to desperately convince your child that you are the good guy, that you are the victim, that the other parent is lying to them. You must resist this urge with everything you have. The moment you start defending yourself to your child, you drag them directly onto the battlefield. You force a developing brain to act as judge and jury over the two people they love most. You are asking them to carry an adult burden. Instead, you activate the safe harbor protocol. A safe harbor does not fight the storm outside. It simply provides an environment where the storm cannot reach. Your home must become the ultimate emotional baseline. In the other house, there is likely chaos, unpredictability, shifting rules, and conditional love. In your house, there must be routine. There must be quiet. There must be boring, beautiful, unshakable predictability. You do not counter toxic programming with arguments. You counter it with undeniable reality. If the other parent whispers that you are erratic and dangerous, your child must walk into your home and consistently find you calm, centered, and making dinner. If the other parent claims you do not care about them, your child must look up into the stands at every single school play and soccer game and see you there, smiling. Children are incredibly observant, and truth has a long-term compound interest. As they grow, they will begin to experience a profound cognitive dissonance. The horrific narrative they are fed at the other house simply will not match the calm, loving reality they experience in yours. They will figure it out on their own. And because they figured it out on their own, that truth will be permanent. You become the anchor. You validate their emotions without ever validating the other parent's lies. When they come home upset, you say, "It sounds like you had a really heavy weekend. I am so sorry you feel sad. But you are safe here now. Go wash up, your favorite show is on." You strip away the adult conflict. You give them permission to simply be a kid again. You've built the sanctuary. You've shielded the collateral damage, and your child finally has a place to breathe. But maintaining this peace for the next decade requires a final, brutal realization about the nature of the war itself, a truth that completely rewrites the ultimate goal of modern co-parenting. We are conditioned to believe that every war has a definitive end. A treaty is signed, the truth is revealed, and the victor is publicly recognized. When you first entered this battlefield, you wanted that kind of justice. You wanted the family court judge to look at the undeniable evidence, slam the gavel, and officially declare that you were the healthy parent. You secretly hoped that one day, your ex-partner would wake up, realize the unimaginable damage they had caused, and finally apologize. But waiting for a toxic individual to offer you closure is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It is a fatal illusion. To permanently survive the high-stakes negotiation of modern co-parenting, you must fundamentally redefine your victory condition. Winning is not about exposing them to the world. Winning is not about getting the last word in a vitriolic email thread. Winning is certainly not about finding profound fairness in a deeply broken family court system. Victory is radical, uncompromising acceptance. It is accepting that you cannot control what happens in their house. You cannot stop the lies they tell their friends. You cannot magically transform them into a rational, collaborative co-parent. The sooner you stop trying to fix a machine that was designed to be broken, the sooner you reclaim your freedom. You must embrace the concept of parallel parenting. Two separate homes. Two entirely different universes. Let their universe be consumed by manufactured drama, rigid control, and endless conflict. Your universe will be defined by success, emotional stability, and quiet joy. Every ounce of energy you used to spend analyzing their behavior, predicting their next legal strike, or trying to defend your reputation is now redirected back into your own life. You pour that focus into your career, achieving levels of professional success they deliberately tried to sabotage. You pour it into your physical health, your personal peace, and your new, healthy relationships. Most importantly, you pour it into your child. By stepping off the battlefield, you are doing more than just protecting your own sanity. You are breaking a generational cycle. You are showing your child, in real time, how a healthy adult processes adversity, maintains boundaries, and chooses peace over warfare. You are not just raising a child, you are forging a resilient, deeply grounded human being who will intimately understand the difference between chaos and unconditional love. There is no grand surrender ceremony. There is no final apology. The hostage negotiation never really ends, it merely becomes a quiet hum in the background of a beautiful, successful life. You can never change who they are. The only real question left is, who will this fire force you to become?